Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another, albeit late, Young Justice Season 4 review of Episode 8. I Know Why the Caged Cat Sings. This is the end of the Tigress episodes. It seems like they're going on like a 4 episode stint. We are getting little pepperings, though, of the follow up of uh, the Superboy storyline that was happening on Mars and kind of like the aftermath of that. We see this from the like last week we saw from Ms. Martian's McGann's point of view. Now this week we get to see it from people grieving for Connor on Clark's side. They're out on the farm in Smallville, and they have little Johnny there, and Clark's there. Lois, they're getting ready for dinner, and then little Johnny says, "Oh, where's Uncle Connor?" And then they have to sit down to explain to him, what happens to Connor. It's a nice little bit. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it's kind of weird because the same voice actor who does Connor also does Clark, and but I mean he's a clone, so it makes sense that they would sound the same. But it's a pretty good little bit. I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead with that, but um, but I mean, just kind of like Clark's side of the family and having to deal with the whole thing about Connor being gone. So I kind of like the way they're doing that. Um, but back with the shadows, back with Lady Shiva and the league. What are they called in this League of Shadows? Yeah. Um, so they're all being surrounded, and they got to keep Lady Shiva and daughter Savage. Why can't I remember her name? uh, daughter Savage talking while Orphan is trying to get herself free so that they can at least have more assistance than just being the three of them: Cheshire, Tigress, and Onyx. They also, could have Orphan's help. We go into once she finally gets free, they hit the lights and then it's dark. So we got like this big old dark fighting campaign where you got Shiva versus Orphan and Tigress versus I believe the robot dude. Onyx was fighting Savage and Cheshire. Who was she fighting? I think it was Spider. I think it was Black Spider, the bad Spider Man. Which I don't mind him. I actually have enjoyed him the past couple episodes. Plus, I love it that he's voiced by a former Spider Man actor. I want to say it's Josh Keaton, but because that's the one who did Spectacular Spider Man. I might be wrong on that, but I'm not gonna look it up right now. So we got a cool little fight sequence between Lady Shiva and her daughter in the dark, and you see the blingity blingity blang of the blades and everything, and um, Barbara reminds Tigress that Orphan's not ready to fight her mom, Lady Shiva, yet. So Tigress comes in or Artemis, Tigress, whatever you want to call her, she comes in and steps in and basically says, "Switch partners," and so Lady Shiva starts fighting Tigress, and Orphan starts fighting Robo Dude, which I never have learned his name. I don't even really care. So they keep going back and forth. Artemis gets injured. Lady Shiva stabs Artemis in her leg. Um, Cheshire defeats Black Spider by like cutting the back of his I guess his webs come from the back of his like a backpack on his thing, so it gets she cuts that open while she's jumping over, and that gets all over him. And then surprisingly, Shade saves the heroes and takes them all from being I think they get surrounded again, and the lights come back on, and they're like, "Yeah, you still can't escape." And then what happens is um, Shade takes Lady Shiva and the heroes to the beach, and so then we have Shiva basically saying, "There's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you can hide. That I will not find my daughter, and I will go through any one of your loved ones to get, but more or less, to get to her." So, Orphan decides to take on her mom, Lady Shiva, and what happens is they're going back and forth. Tigress can't help because she's got an injured leg, and Cheshire says, "No, look, they really have to finish this," and Orphan does. She absolutely finishes it because doesn't finish Lady Shiva, doesn't kill her, but she absolutely beats her mom, Lady Shiva. Stabs her right through the stomach. So apparently she can survive that without a Lazarus pit, I guess. I don't know. This was also a really cool sequence. You know, Artemis and Barbara basically trying to tell Orphan that she's not the monster that her mother tried to make her out to be. She doesn't have to be an assassin. I really like the because like Orphan was just kind of a background character in season 3. I really like the fact that they're giving Orphan all this backstory, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm out of all of this, I'm enjoying the Orphan bits. She doesn't even talk, but I'm really enjoying the Orphan bits in these past 2 episodes. Well, 3 episodes really, with Orphan. Um, there's they go back and forth between the Kents in this. I know there's a bit more where they're talking about Connor and stuff like that with little Johnny and explaining to him how when everything stops working in your body, you just stop living, yada yada. It was a weird way to explain it. I felt to a child, but I guess it worked for maybe his Kryptonian brain. I don't know. When your organs cease to function, you are dead. That makes sense. That tracks. Um, there are some flashbacks in this episode with Jade and just going back to the first season actually of Young Justice when Artemis and Cheshire come face to face, and then after that Cheshire goes checking up on Artemis at the house, and Artemis confronts Cheshire on the roof, basically saying, "Why don't you come in, come home?" And she says, "How long are they going to accept you until they know the truth? Like how they, if they knew the truth, they wouldn't accept you." So it's a little bit more expansion on the story from season 1, which is nice. I mean, I always felt like there's a little bit more there, and it's kind of nice to get it. Also, at the beginning of the episode, I know I left this out, but Cheshire, and after that whole sequence in the beginning from season 1, Cheshire goes back and talks to the master, and was basically, I can't remember what she was saying. I didn't write it down, but she was basically talking to Sensei about Artemis and all that jazz. Then we get to a sequence where finally Artemis has convinced Jade to come home to Roy and her daughter, or William and her daughter. First shot of this video, I'm doing good. We're almost through this, and so she's like, Artemis is like, "Hey, I'm bringing a guest home with me," and Will's like, "Oh, great, another stray," and and he doesn't know it's Cheshire, Jade, Cheshire, whatever. And then the kid, and I cannot remember her name, Leon. Is her name Leon? No, Brion is the guy, is the prince. I don't remember, but Leanne, I can't remember. But she jumps on the screen and she's like, "Look, I made a mommy mask," and she has like this mask that kind of looks like Cheshire's mask, and then of course it freaks Jade out, and she just takes off running and disappears. So yeah, then we go to the Smallville farm again, and we see Clark now dealing with his grief. He's like, I can't hold it together. He's like, this is my fault because I should have accepted Connor for who he was when he first came, and I didn't, and I mean, this all goes back to season 1 when Superman just didn't know how to handle having a clone of him running around. He just really didn't know. And so, and we found out in season 2 that they kind of, they became bros, more or less. But yeah, so, Lois is like, "Look, I know it's selfish, but or Clark is like, if I would have shown up 5 minutes earlier, I would have been able to save him." And it's like, no. And Lois is like, "No, Clark, if you would have shown up 5 minutes earlier, not only would Connor have died, but you would have died, and you would have left your son fatherless and me without you." And I mean, she's right. It's selfish and it sounds bad, but it's right. I mean, better for one than both to go. I'm still not convinced that Connor's dead anyway. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so they kind of wrap that storyline nice, nice and in a bow for that one, which we'll probably get more expansion on in the following weeks. And then we come to the end of the episode, the feel good moment of this episode, where Cheshire's take is has jumped the helicopter and heading to Infinity Island, which I don't know how she's going to Infinity Island with the helicopter. I just feel like that. I don't know. I just feel like that's too far for a helicopter to go, but whatever. So when she's going in to the Infinity Island, she gets there. She destroys Sensei's meditation spot. So he's like, "Oh, my meditation spot again!" And so they're gonna get ready to fight, and then Tigress comes in and starts fighting Jade and basically saying, "Look, I'm not gonna let you throw your life away." And it boils down to kind of a feel good moment between Cheshire, Onyx, and Tigress. You got Jason Todd there in the background, not saying very much. And then Ra's al Ghul shows up, and Talia's up in the balcony or up on one of the upper floors. But Ra's al Ghul shows up, and basically what's going to happen is Jade and Onyx are going to stay on Infinity Island and work with um, Ra's al Ghul and Sensei to work through their issues. So that's why I'm saying it's like, so instead of it being Infinity Island, I'm calling it Rehab Island. Maybe, okay, sort of Rehab Island. It is now. It's not Infinity Island anymore. And then Artemis goes home and sees Will and the daughter and her mom, and it's just kind of like a feel good ending. So if this is the end of this 4-episode arc with Artemis, I really just kind of feel like this was. I really just feel like I don't want to say it fizzled out because it was good, but it kind of like this set of 4 episodes was in the reverse order of the Ms. Martian Superboy episodes. Like they started off slow and lovey dovey, and then they worked their way up to kind of being a little bit of high octane, a little bit more. And then these ones were like really high octane in the beginning, and then at the end of this last episode, it was kind of lovey dovey, and I don't know. I mean, I the season's weird. I don't dislike it, but there's just something odd about it. I think they're trying too hard to enlist the feels, and I feel like you don't have to work so hard. Like you don't have to work so hard to enlist the feels. We don't need the crying and the hugs and everything like that. I feel like we would feel that without so much emphasis on it. But as I said, do I think this is bad? No. No, I actually enjoyed this arc like this 4-episode arc a little bit better than the Martian arc. What I'm going to call it, the Martian arc. This one was a little more action packed. We got to see more side characters. We got to see the expansion of some more, heroes like Orphan. Well, really, just Orphan. Really, I mean, we got to see a little more of like Arsenal and all that other, but and spoiler in some of the earlier episodes. But I don't know. I felt I did like this set of episodes more. According to the description, it looks like next we are going into Zatanna-based episodes. The next episode is, and I looked it up earlier, and I'm going to look it up again because I'm a big poopy head. Oh, it doesn't say. And there's no overview. But I remember there being some kind of description out there about Zatanna. So I think the next episode is about Zatanna. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah. So that's it for the second arc of Young Justice Season 4 Phantoms. Leave your thoughts on this 4-episode arc in the comments below. Let me know. Did you like the Martian arc better, or did you like the Tigress arc better? I call it the Shakespearean arc. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting mixed feelings on some of this, but yeah, guys, just leave your thoughts, and if you haven't already, please give us a like and a comment, and consider subscribing to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you kind of maybe sort of might have heard of. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.